Welcome to Revive Recipes. Today we are going to be doing a Danish pastry that is super easy to make, and I'm going to show you a quick tip, and we're also going to be making apple strudel. So come along with me and let's have some fun. For our Danish pastries, we are actually going to be using puff pastry. Now this is the tip I wanted to tell you. To make Danish pastry, it takes 27 layers of laminated pastry and butter. And it's almost an all-day process because after each fold, you have to refrigerate for 30 minutes. So we are wiping away that whole process and just going to use puff pastry. Now, if you want the recipe for the regular pastry with the 27 layers, send me a private message and I'll be happy to send that to you. But for today, I promised it would be super simple and easy, and it is. So this is what we're going to do. We're using this. And then we have some homemade peach preserves that I made from our peaches we picked this summer, as well as strawberry, and we have vanilla custard, and I will also post the recipe for this. And then of course we have our apple pie filling from apples we got this summer as well, and I'll post the recipe for that. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is put just a tiny, tiny bit of flour down. We do not need very much, just a tiny bit so that it won't stick. The pastry in these packages are already a little bit floured, so that helps. Now, these come with 2 packs of pastry, and you buy them in the freezer department at the store. So you'll want to take them out of the freezer the night before you plan to use them, or a couple of hours before you plan to use them, and put them on your countertop to thaw. So we're just going to open this up, and it's wonderful because it comes with the little papers inserted already to keep it from sticking together. And then I just pat it down a little bit. All right. Are you ready? This is the easiest part. We're going to take our cutter and we're going to cut it into 4s. Doesn't have to be a perfect cut. Just like that. All right. Now the next step, we just separate them a little bit. Now we're going to cut. The shape we're doing is pinwheels. Now you can do any shape you want to. In fact, maybe I'll do the custard one a little different. But the other 3, we're just going to cut into the corners. Now we're not going all the way through. We want to leave the solid piece in the middle. You just want to do little cuts. Oops, and see I missed the corner. That's not a problem if you do that. It's not a big deal. Turn it so you can see. All right, so the first one will be peach because I love peach. And these are the peaches from this summer. In fact, maybe I'll do 2 of these. You can use any flavors that you like. And then we'll do a strawberry. All right, now for the custard, the vanilla custard. Just going to put a little dab in the middle. And this one, I'm just going to bring up to the corners like this and like this. Now that custard is going to spread out And our little pastries are going to rise a little bit too. Now that one's a little different. These, here I'll show you on this one. We're going to go every other corner. So I'll bring this corner up, just like a pinwheel. This corner up, and this corner. And then I'm going to give it a little twist and fold it down. Just like that. So this corner, this corner, this corner, and this corner. See how easy it is? And a little twist. You just want to pinch them together so it stays nice and twisted. All right, so now the next step, so we're going to take a little milk. We're just going to brush it on there. Oh, it looks like that one might be coming apart. I might not have gotten enough of the pastry up to pinch it, but we're going to leave it and just show you what happens. Now, you don't have to use milk. You can use melted butter if you prefer. And then, over the top, you're just sprinkling sugar. Now, coarse ground sugar would be much better. I don't have that with me today, so I'm just doing this. Regular sugar works. Because after the bake, we're going to do a glaze anyway. But when you put the sugar on it, it just gives the pastry a pretty little shine. All right, that's it. Now we just need to put them on our sheet. I did forget to tell you we put the oven on to 400 degrees. So I'm going to do that quick. All right, 400 degrees. And now these are going on my pan. And you just put them on a parchment lined pan. Oh yeah, that one's already come undone. All right, and then the next one we're going to do is the apple strudel. Now, what is so great about this is you can change this up to be anything you want. Today we're making the sweet Danishes and apple strudel. You can change it to make it into a savory. I have actually used this pastry to make my coda pates that I showed you last week. And they turn out wonderful. You can make appetizers, you can make pocket sandwiches. So I encourage you to get some of this, and play with it a little bit and see all the different things that you can do with it. Because you can change it up, and it's so easy. Speaking of change, you know, our lives have been so full of change these last few years. The world has changed so much, and we have had no control over that. And what do? You know, things come into our lives that we cannot control. But let me tell you, the one thing that never changes is Jesus Christ. He's the same today as he was yesterday, and as he'll be tomorrow and forever. And it gives us comfort. We have that rock, that one person who will never ever change, that will always be the constant in our life, and that's Jesus. And it brings us comfort to know that even though there's change around us all the time, the one thing that doesn't change is Jesus, and he loves us, and we can count on that and depend on that every day. And I just want to share that with you. Now, let's make our apple strudel. Okay, so I am just going to use the same board, I'm just going to spread the flour out just a little bit. There's a tiny bit of sugar there, but that's okay. Now, oh, this one's sticky. All right, when you get it out of the package, because it was frozen, as it thaws, sometimes it gets sticky on the bottom, and that's what I just discovered. So if that is the case, you will want to add an additional flour. Maybe I'll just put a little bit on it too, just to make sure. All right, now this one, same idea. We're just going to cut the pastry different. We're not going to cut this into fourths. This time, we're just going to cut straight strips. Now, when you open it up, it's in thirds. You can see the thirds. We want to keep that. So when we cut, we're only going to cut into the first third. And we're just going to make little strips and try to make them as even as you can. Now, if you don't have this fancy gadget, just use a knife. A sharp knife works good too. But I find this little pastry cutter works really, really good. Oops, I didn't get out of the way. Now, if you do decide to make your own pastry, this process here will be exactly the same. You'll just roll out your pastry to be about that size. Okay, now, like I said, I already have my apple filling made from the apples we got this summer. I have found that the very best apples for apple filling, well, the ones I prefer, are Granny Smith's. They make a wonderful apple pie. You can choose to use whichever apples are your favorite. I just like the Granny Smith's because they're a little bit crisp and tart. Okay, so now what we want to do is we're just going to fold this little end up, and we're going to take our strip and we're going to fold it over just like that. And this one too. And then we just start folding over and meeting in the middle, just like that. Maybe make this a little bit not so angled. Oh, now if you find that you didn't get it cut all the way through, or if it's starting to stick again, just pull it apart, recut it. That's okay too. This doesn't have to be fancy. And if you like more apple filling poking out through it, you can certainly remove some of these. I have done that many times where I've just removed an extra one or two so that I have more apple filling sticking out. But we just go across and across and across. Isn't this easy? All right, now we are down at the bottom. So we want to tuck this up. I want to tuck in some of that filling. And we're just going to bring that over because we want to make sure. I don't think I need all of that pastry. And then just tuck it into the bottom so that it doesn't escape. Well, that's not nearly as pretty. Let's put that one in there and put this one over the top. There. All right, now the next step is the same. Let's brush it with milk. But if you prefer butter, you can do that by all means. You could see the little flour bits that's on this when we take it out of the packaging, and that's okay. All right. sugar, sugar, sugar. I almost put the glaze on. Okay. Now that's ready to go on the pan. My fingers are all full of dough. This one's a little bit more challenging. Again, you'll want a parchment lined pan. All right, so there you have it. Now we'll put it in the oven. We'll bake it for about 20 minutes and take it out and we'll let it cool and then we'll put the glaze on. Well, we pulled them out of the oven and we let them cool and now they are ready to glaze. So I'm going to put this right here and I have my plate ready because we're going to taste it. And you can see that one that I didn't get twisted very well. It's still very pretty. So what we'll do now is we've let them cool. They were in the oven for about 20 minutes. Now at 400 degrees. Remember, your oven temperature might be a little different. So make sure you check your pastries frequently. All right, and then here's the fun part. All we're going to do is drizzle this glaze. Nothing fancy to it. I just put a little on the spoon and I just drizzle it. And you can put as much or as little as you want. Now if you're Gene, he's going to say much, much, keep going, keep going. And you just keep going back and forth. And like I said, you can put as much glaze as you want. Now this glaze, this is just simply powdered sugar, vanilla, and milk. It's super easy. Sometimes instead of vanilla, depending on what I'm putting it on, I will use lemon juice. There we go. Now how does that look? That look absolutely scrumptious. Are you ready to eat? Gosh, I sure am. Let's take a taste. I know Gene wants some too. But he has to wait. He's behind the camera. All right, here we go. Of course, you can just pick it up and take a bite. It's definitely flaky. And it's so good. So I hope you guys enjoy doing this. Have fun making it. Be creative with it. And enjoy the end product as well. Have a good day. I did let him have some.
All right.